Hey, welcome to the Restoration Soul Care Podcast, where we have honest conversations about faith, neuroscience, and hope. I'm Michael Camber, a relationship and recovery coach.
And I'm Nick Buddha, a mental health and relationship coach. If you feel stuck in shame, addiction, or pain, you don't have to face it alone. Join us for some real stories, real tools, and a real path forward. Let's dive in.
All right, we are back in the studio, not more than 20 minutes after we completed our last recording.
Well, listen, I was going to make a joke about, isn't it funny how even a week later we're wearing the same clothes?
Yeah, I mean, we could sell that lie.
Yeah.
We do have refreshed cups of coffee. Sometimes you look at your calendar wrong, and sometimes you're like, ooh, client's not showing up for another hour. We got time.
Scripture says redeem the time, so we're going to redeem it.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we are, back. We're going to continue our conversation on stuff.
How neuroscience can inform our recovery. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if you're jumping into this episode and you haven't listened to the previous one, please go back, because we're going to build off the first 2 points we covered in that episode, which are awesome, talking about the idea of abstinence. Talked a lot about that.
I'm going to have to go put numbers on these so people can find them easily.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
If you can edit podcast episodes and you'd like to...
And you'd like to volunteer your time, because honestly, this is just costing us money.
Yeah.
So far. So I don't have any money to pay anybody.
It's us investing into you.
Yeah.
Who are listening.
Are you listening? Are you listening? This is for you.
Good.
For you.
Talked about abstinence. We talked about calming your nervous system, calming your body.
Nick, will you calm my nervous system right now?
Do you need a hug?
No.
Okay.
I'm calm.
We're going to pick up on point number 3.
Yeah.
To make use of time. Man, we used the idea of connecting with people throughout the last episode. And it's also a theme we talk about all the time.
All of the time.
That porn addiction is ultimately an intimacy disorder. It's bottom line relational. When we think about neuroscience, we talked a little bit about how there are specific neurotransmitters that are only really carrying the information, transmitting the information of relational connection. The easiest one is oxytocin, as an example. What can happen if you're following the previous steps of like, hey, I'm working really hard at abstaining from acting out. I'm learning how to calm my body, but I'm in that window where I'm like, I feel like crap.
Yeah.
What we need to figure out from neuroscience is just because you're abstaining from the normal mechanism that you used for getting a sense of oxytocin, serotonin, doesn't mean you just shut those things down. We talked about, you remember our outside episode on the porch?
I do.
One of the principles we talked about from Scripture is the replacement principle.
Yes.
So
From
this,
4 Principles to Master Porn Addiction.
yes, could be another short book.
Full of books that we'll never write.
Yeah. Someday we'll have time. Here's a great example of where the where the replacement principle can happen, even with neuroscience, is this idea of what are the God-designed, what are the, again, if you want to use the word natural, whatever you think is best, what are the ways in which I can receive oxytocin, serotonin in a edifying, relationally centered way?
Yeah.
And really what we're talking about here is, bottom line, y'all need to build healthy relationships.
Y'all need friends.
We do. We need to. We all need them. You've talked about in the past the idea of relational scaffolding.
Mm-hmm.
I love that picture of people in my life who are part of my support system, part of what I can rely on to hold me up, to anchor me. Here it comes.
Keep talking.
So, what I was going to say is, where do you start with, guys, in that whole conversation? Because I'll tell you, not to make anyone feel guilty or ashamed, most clients that we work with come in, and when we address this issue of what's your relational system look like, they're like, I'll tell you what, I'm married, but that's not going well right now because of this struggle. And to be honest, yeah, I functionally have people I talk to, I work with, or I hang out with, but I don't really have any close relationships.
Yeah.
Where do we go from there?
Yeah, you got to figure that out. You got to figure out a way to go deeper with people, and you got to find those people. Not to keep scratching this itch, but if you will go grab the Quit Porn Quick Start Guide for free, text me 502-858-5859, or go to the website rscky.com/get started. Download this for free, or I'll send you a free copy. And look what happened. Part 3, cultivate relational community.
Whoa, you address it in its own section.
Yeah, how about that? So yeah,
it must be important.
There's good reflection stuff. Actually, I'm not going to give away the farm here. Well, actually, I'm giving away the farm. It's just, I guess, where do I want to give away the farm? Here, or do I want to make you work for the? I'm saying stuff. We're trying to illustrate the point of cultivating relational community because it is so necessary. Why? Because porn addiction, any addiction, thrives in secrecy. When you keep it to yourself, you tell yourself, well, I'll just die with the secret. It'll be fine. And what you don't realize is the unintended consequence of that is you will show up in relationship differently, whether you know you're doing it or not. You just will. Because internally you're trying to keep this secret and protect this thing from getting out, so you will show up differently in relationship. You will keep people at arm's length. You will not go deep with people. If somebody gets close to touching on something a little sensitive, you'll back off, you'll shut down, you'll move away, you'll ghost people. You just will, because now your life becomes revolved around protecting the secret rather than living the way that God created you to live. And frankly, that sucks. Here's the take action section from this. So if you're like, where do I flip and start? Well, you might want to consult the Quick Start Guide because this is where you start. Join a recovery group, either online or in person. That's an easy way to start.
Yep.
We're talking about low barriers for entry. If you don't know what that means, go to rscky.com/community and get into our free school community. Nick and I will interact with you there. We've got a bunch of other really helpful resources in there. It doesn't cost anything.
No,
you just drop in.
Trying to give them it all away.
You access it. If you're looking for help, we're giving you all the help you didn't ask for, but you're getting it. Number 2, find a safe person or an accountability partner who understands your goals and knows your struggle, a.k.a. hello, friend person. I want to stop using porn. Will you be my person in life that I can call and confess and tell the truth to without judgment? Who can hold the tension of knowing my secret and not judging or shaming me? If the answer is yes, you might be a good person.
Yep.
Sorry, a good person. You might be a good friend for me. And then 3rd, very practically, reach out to a pastor, mentor, coach, counselor, therapist for structured guidance because sometimes this is tricky.
For sure.
But I rattled off a bunch of stuff, but I think those are really great places to start. And just to double down on this, nobody can do this for you. And I think that's by design because I always go back to James chapter 2. Dear brothers and sisters, when struggles or troubles of any kind come your way, consider those an opportunity for joy. I don't have friends or I don't have safe, trustworthy people in my life. Well, guess what? That's a problem. You might call that a struggle. The Bible says now you have an opportunity for great joy. You have an opportunity to work at something toward a goal so that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? What we oftentimes, we try to, when we go to pornography, we're trying to get the reward of relationship without the work and the risk. What God is inviting you to is to go after the work and take the risk so that you get the genuine reward of relationship, which is healthy nervous system regulation, which is the reestablishment of homeostasis or normal tonic levels of your neurotransmitters. That happens in relationship. You want me to keep just yelling at people? Or
Man, going, Michael, the caffeine's hitting right now. It's great. I'll tell you, so again, I promise we're not just driving this because Michael and Nick always talk about relationship. I feel like they have this just bias towards it. Here's the science, okay? So even people who don't believe in God and that we were created in this image and at its core that implies a relational reality, a relational wiring. Mm-hmm. There's this thing called attachment. We've talked about it here. I know that. It's this unspoken kind of set of rules that psychologists, even people in medicine are trying to put their hands around and saying like, man, we don't really fully understand it, but like human beings need relational connection. They call it attachment. There's also unhealthy forms of it. There's healthy forms of it. They talk about attachment, kind of how it is formed early on in life and how you operate from it. We're not going into that in this episode, but the reason I bring it up is there's this in your brain, there's this connection called an attachment reward system. Meaning, when I get that attachment, regardless of whether it's healthy or unhealthy, that's the problem here. When I get a form of attachment to me, which reinforces my significance, my worth, a sense of camaraderie and community, there are mechanisms in my brain that rewards it. Okay? So what we're saying is porn was this unhealthy way of getting those attachment needs met. And it gave you rewards to reinforce it.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. So what we're saying too is, goodness, if your brain is not, if it's not receiving a form of healthy attachment, it's going to respond a certain way. And we talked about that with withdrawal and other things. But also the positive way of looking at it is when you choose to invest in the hard work of good relationships, not only will your brain continue to reward it, but it'll be much more sustaining than any amount of pornography or acting out could ever create for you. And that's because, and I can't help but say this, as a Christian, you are stepping into the created order.
Right.
You're saying, I'm living in the image of God in the sense of I am stepping towards relationship, and my body is going to just be blessed. It's going to function with a certain level of well-being as a result. So that's what we say for guys too, man. It's honestly a matter of science. Obviously, this was first stated, we believe in Scripture, but to pursue the work of relationship is at the core part of your being.
Yeah.
And the effects of it in your mood, in your energy, in your disposition, it's crazy how it improves all those things. And the reason I say that too is because what we're not saying is, okay, find some people just so you can get more intake of oxytocin. That's a very transactional way of relationship.
Yeah. We don't want you to use people just for the sake of that.
Correct.
That's not the point.
What we're saying is, sure, the neurotransmitter is involved in that action, but the real value and weight of it is the actual people and the relationship.
Yeah.
That holds you up, which is why we use terms like scaffolding or support system or.
Well, I love that you said created order. And what immediately went through my head was that's living into our humanity, our createdness.
Yes.
Like, this is how we were made to operate. And you are limited, which is why you can't do this alone, because you weren't created to do it alone. I mean, thinking about like just to flesh it out for a second, we're created in the image of God. Well, who is God? He's Father, Son, and Spirit. That's a relationship. We're created out of that reality into what you're born into, a family, which is what? Relationships. You go through life developing and changing in and through relationships. High school, middle school, elementary school, you develop friends, you have teachers. Everything's a relationship. And you're limited in that capacity because you can't do things alone. You literally weren't created to. And here's the big picture evidence of this. Go to the Gospels. I think it's in most of the Gospels. The story of after Jesus is baptized, immediately he's taken out to the desert, right? He's led out there, and he's tempted by Satan. But what's going on in the desert? He's in the wilderness, alone, isolated from other people, relationships. He was with the Spirit of God. I'm not getting to a theological argument there, but what did Satan tempt Jesus with? It was, you don't have to be human. You don't have to live into the limitedness of the humanity. You put off the God piece when you came and incarnated yourself. You don't have to do that, right? Are you feeling hungry? You've been starving out here, buddy. You can do the God thing and you can turn these rocks into bread. You don't have to be hungry. You don't have to feel human. Oh,
and actually the lens, I always love to zoom in on the statements that is bold in Scripture. The statement that happened before Jesus went into the wilderness was God declaring, "You are my beloved Son with whom I am well pleased."
Yes.
That is a relationally rich declaration.
Yes.
And that is the thing that Satan tried to usurp.
Yep.
It wasn't ultimately about, hey, I know you're hungry, I'm going to try to tempt you with food.
Right.
He began his statements in saying, if you are the Son.
Right.
If you're really God's Son.
Yep.
Questioning the relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is also what he does in Genesis chapter 3.
Right. Totally the same. Yeah, we've tried to make that
same
point.
line of question.
Like, whether it's you're saying you're questioning your humanity or you're usurping the whole relational design, it's one and the same. Yeah, and I think that's, we try to make an argument that's the same tactic Satan tries to use with all of us is making us, let me say it this way. Continually going to pornography makes us less human.
Say that again.
Whew. Continually going to pornography to meet our relational and attachment needs makes us less human.
That's it.
So, man, we do need numbered episodes. I was saying, I don't know what the title is. There is an episode where we talk about the progression of building relationship through honesty, vulnerability, and risk. And we're not going to go through that all here, but please take a listen for that. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes if Michael's feeling ambitious.
You keep making promises that I'll have to come back to. That's fine. Was it our community episode?
Yes, it was.
Episodes?
Thank you.
Okay, that those are all labeled part 1, 2, 3, or 4 community, so you should be able to find those easy enough.
Which probably you should listen to the whole series because it's awesome.
What we really want to say is you need to listen to every single episode we produce.
I know, that's what
I think this is 38 or 39 we're working on?
I think it's 39.
This is a seminal moment for me because I'm 39. You're 39.
Correct.
We'll both be 40. You'll be 40 next month. Next month. And I'll be 40 in May. So
I'll be 40 after our 40th episode, Lord willing.
I'm going to wait to record the 40th episode on your
my birthday.
On your birthday.
But that's the end of March. We can't wait that long.
You're right.
All right, we're harping this. Let's move to the last point, which again, quick pivot or application. If you need help connecting, because we frequently admit building your relational system, especially in a healthy way, is challenging. It takes time, and sometimes it's helpful to think that through with a coach or counselor in real time to unpack small steps at a time.
Yeah.
So please reach out to us if we can help you. If we can be that coach, counselor, awesome. If not, we're going to steer you in a good direction. Last one that we talked about is changing our thought processes. So one thing that neuroscience surfaces is our brain is thinking, making cognitive conclusions all the time. We mentioned a form of therapy that addresses this. It's cognitive behavioral therapy. One of the basis for this therapy model is what they call automatic thinking, which means sometimes it's thinking that you're not even conscious of. Like you're coming to conclusions, making information processed. Sometimes we call it living out of an internal script. It's like how I see people, how I see life. It's based off these conclusions we've already made. A lot of times we're just passive with this. And we're like, well, I went back to pornography again. I just don't understand it. When in reality, there were some very logical conclusions that your brain had come to prior to you making any decisions at all. So when we talk about changing the way you think, that the special fancy term is cognitive restructuring. What we're actually getting into is there are connections. We talked about neurotransmitters and synapses, these things that wire together through repetition and then the release of electricity and these chemicals. Just like those can be reinforced through repetition and experience, so can new ones. We call that idea, or that, I would say that evidence of grace, neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
It simply means just because your brain has formed in one way doesn't mean you're stuck with it the rest of your life. Those connections can be weakened. They can actually be removed, and really good ones can be replaced. So again, we're back to replacement principle. But for a lot of guys, it doesn't really feel like replacement as much as like if you're into construction, it honestly feels like I'm building something from scratch. Yeah. And that's tough. I get that.
Come on over.
Is it better on the other side?
It's just a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my leg will fall asleep over here. This is my natural inclination to cross my right over my left.
I think mine too. You're right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. I play hockey left-handed, but I bat in baseball right-handed. How does that make sense?
You're an animal. It's like the people who are left-handed and then they buy a left-handed guitar. It's like, what are you doing? Just play the right way.
It's about learning and patterns. Because I'm definitely not
Way to tie it in.
ambidextrous. I'm definitely not. My left-handed handwriting is total trash.
For those of you who aren't watching and you're just listening, what just happened is Nick resituated himself in his chair and recrossed his legs, and then he aggressively touched my knee with his foot and then made eye contact with me.
Did it make you feel uncomfortable?
No, but I did get a little shot of oxytocin, so thanks for that.
All right, you're right.
Unintended oxytocin. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Accidental oxytocin.
Unintended tocin.
Sounds like Robitussin.
Gross.
Helps you sleep. Okay, here's a. I think this is helpful because it's fairly simple, and it's the model that this therapy uses. I love teaching guys about ABCs of restructuring your brain. So when we talk about ABCs of thinking, A stands for automatic thought, B stands for belief, and C stands for consequence, or and I always qualify that with it's something that is experienced. Consequence doesn't necessarily have to be something negative. It's just the result. Okay, so a lot of times, again, we play that into our lives in a very passive way. I have this thought that I'm not really tuning into. It triggers a belief that's been formed, and I just live out of that, out of replay. So an automatic thought in maybe a struggle with porn could be something like, man, I'm really overwhelmed. I'm feeling lonely. I've experienced in the past that porn is a way to get out of that. So it's a logical conclusion that I go back to it, which then reaffirms a belief, which is maybe often triggered in shame. I don't deserve better. This is my only way out, or it's the best way out. It's a belief system. And then the C, the consequence, the result is I go pursue pornography.
Yeah.
And man, that ABC can happen like lightning fast, okay? And by the way, it's a cycle. So the experience in C then it influences thoughts again, reinforces them, and the pattern continues. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So what we say is, what if we started the progression over intentionally the way that we wanted it to go? What if we address a thought on the front end to say, man, even if it's a really new thought, one that doesn't settle in yet, let's introduce something that we know is right and is good. What do you think might be just a simple statement?
Yeah, well, I go back to the thing that most people are probably dealing with in this capacity, which is shame or toxic shame.
Yeah.
And so the lie, the automatic thought that we're probably already contending with is that you are bad. Not that you did something bad.
Yeah.
You are bad, categorically. And so that's an easy one for me to flip or encourage people to flip, is that you aren't, it's not that you are bad, it's that you did something that was against your goals.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to downplay like the significance of like sin and like all that stuff. That's not what this is. But when we reframe that, it gives us the courage to move towards something else, right? What's the replacement?
Yeah.
Which is why when we talk about the idea of repentance, it's turning away from the thing, but it, in some capacity, like it's also a turning towards something.
Yes, it is.
And if you don't turn toward something on purpose, your brain's going to sort of feel untethered and go, oh, we got to get back to something. And it's probably just going to drift back to porn. So that's my easy, quick reframe that I try to guide guys through initially out of the gate is you aren't categorically a piece of crap. We did something that was against our goals, and now that we've sort of assessed and we've maybe even used the reflection sheet like we talked about, how do we want to pivot and how do we want to reframe that and keep moving toward the thing that we want to move toward? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm looking up, there's a pastor out west. His name is Craig Groeschel. So his church is Life Church and developed the Bible app. Man, he also wrote a book basically from a Christian worldview on the power of our thinking. I'm going to look this up here in a second. But what he talked about is what you're getting at too. And whether we want to ground it in therapy or psychology or not, the point is this is part of our natural human pattern, right? Where our behavior goes back to, can always be grounded into a belief. And then our beliefs can often be rooted back to repetitive information or informational reinforcement, thinking reinforcement, right?
Yeah.
I think it enough times that it starts to form a belief, which then forms my behavior.
Right.
Kyle Edmund also talks about this in his book, Every Thought Captive. So practical steps. Okay, what do we do with all this theory and information? Well, we're getting at the point of the importance of changing our thinking.
Would you believe that I tackled some of this
Go for it,
in the
please.
Quick Porn Quick Story Guide? No, you can keep talking.
Which chapter is it?
I think it's the last one. No, I lied. It's the second to last one. Called Create New Rhythms for a New Life. Look at that. How poignant. Briefly, I'll give you some of the reflection stuff. Well, it's the seeds. It's the seeds framework. But I'll let you talk briefly. What I have in here is an exercise for you to get at, like starting a morning routine, creating a plan for downtime, and developing healthy digital boundaries, which we sort of talked about a second ago. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, here it is. The book, which I'm blanking. I'm already losing my caffeine wave. The book's called Winning the War in Your Mind. I recommend it. It's a great book and informed a lot by what we know clinically. So his phrase that I've loved to use with clients is this: write it, think it, and confess it until you believe it. So we're talking practical. Write it out, a true statement. It could be addressing your shame. It could be addressing the reality of porn only takes, or it always takes more than it gives.
Yeah.
It could be a statement on like why you're choosing to do a certain thing in recovery. It could be like, hey, the reason I'm abstaining is because I believe I can change my baseline. And that's important to me. So I'm going to, again, write it, which involves touch and my sight. I'm going to say it out loud, so it involves my hearing. And then I'm going to continue to confess it. Or did I say that wrong?
Yeah, right, confess.
Write it, think it.
Think it. That's what
Okay, so there's an inner part too. So I'm writing it, thinking it, and saying it out loud. And honestly, we tell guys, if you're trying to form a new way of thinking, like just doing it once every randomly, it's not going to happen. The key part is repetition, reinforcement.
Consistency.
And I'll tell you, that's what Craig Groeschel talks about in his book, is when it's repeated enough, it does affect your belief system. Like your brain, when you repeat something enough, it's going to start seeing it as a pattern of where can I place it. And as soon as it can be reaffirmed with a action or an experience, boom, something huge happens. So for instance, this is an easy one for me to even reinforce how we started this episode. One thing is a statement you could say is, I deserve, I don't know, I'm trying to be fancy with the wording. I deserve good relationships.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's a true statement. I'm writing it, I'm thinking it, I'm saying it out loud throughout the time. I have a pattern. Maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's at lunchtime I'm pausing, maybe it's at the end of the day. And then what's happening is a low-level belief is starting to form as you repeat that information. But here's where the gold is. And then you have an experience with someone in your life who steps towards you in your struggle, or who just in an unprompted way shows affection and care for you. And then here's what your brain does. It's like, oh yeah, we've been reciting this information. It is true.
Yeah.
I deserve good relationships. And so that belief gets solidified and the cycle continues and becomes stronger and stronger until, here's what begins to happen. It begins to become an automatic thought, again, through a lot of repetition and experiences. And then you're saying, man, I do deserve good relationships.
Yeah.
And I've tasted them a little bit, but I want more. So you start making that your own script, your own wiring, and it's producing really good stuff. You could do the same pattern with learning to see pornography from what it is, as like a objectification of people. I've actually heard from a lot of people when they've rehearsed the truth. Again, so specifically if you're looking at pornography centered around women, to say this is somebody's daughter, or this is a human being created in the image of God, and they've repeated that fact over and over again, like they began to see pornography different. And actually what I've even heard through repetition is certain guys begin to form an experience of disgust. It's like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Or even compassion for the individuals involved in pornography.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's beautiful. That's so good. But that didn't form randomly. Like there was repetition, there was a form of a belief, and then the resulting behavior happened over time.
Yep.
ABCs. I believe in it.
Here's how I might summarize that.
Please.
You are who you think you are.
Yeah. Craig Groeschel said, this I'm regurgitating all this stuff from when I read the book.
Do it.
He said, your life is always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like that. I think that's very true. So
what question are you moving in? What question? What direction are you moving in?
Yeah.
What are your strongest thoughts? It's a great reflection question. It's also one of the ways that I invite guys to check in when we do check-ins.
Yeah.
Is part of the 4D check-in. Like,
Yes.
What are your thoughts like? What have your thoughts been like this week? What have been the predominant thoughts? What have you woken up thinking about? What have you been thinking about as you go to bed? What's consuming your thoughts? These are good things to reflect on and process.
I'll tell you the most common exercise that I start with, even people battling with a mood disorder, so depression, other forms of high or low moods, is that very exercise, is thought journaling. So even before we talk about emotions and all that wiring, just to be aware of those automatic thinking is the first step. So before you start rewiring, man, I remember doing this in my recovery journey, and I was like flabbergasted by how severe, how negative my automatic thoughts were. And of course, yes, it was influenced a ton by shame. But like the more I sat with it and I could actually detail it out, like write it out in a sentence, like this is basically what I'm thinking. I was like, man, I would never say this towards somebody else. And yet I operate with that message all the time towards myself.
Yeah.
Tearing myself down. And of course, the resulting behavior was what? I pursued things that were just horrible for me.
Yep.
Or I tried to live in survival mode of just like, well, this is the best it's going to get. Man, that's good. Any other thoughts or exercises or comments on changing our thinking?
I always go back to the seeds because it's
plant the darn seeds.
Plant the seeds. It's a little like, you've seen the movie The Karate Kid?
Yes.
You know, the part where Daniel's going to go learn karate from Miyagi, and he's like, all right, I'm ready. Teach me karate. Teach me how to fight. And he's like, okay, you take paintbrush, you take paint, you paint fence. And he's like, paint, okay, I'm doing chores. All right, whatever. So he starts painting, and he gets irritated after a while. He's like, I'm tired of painting this stupid fence. Teach me karate. And then Miyagi throws a punch at him, and he blocks it. You know, he's doing the motion.
He has the muscle strength.
He's got the muscle strength. He didn't realize he was developing it.
Yes.
But I think that's what a lot of this stuff is, and I think it has to be. Because if it's too direct, in some ways you'll sabotage yourself out of it because you'll go, well, this is too hard or this is too easy, and you won't do it. But that's why I love the seeds, because it's doing a lot of under-the-surface work. Like, you're not consciously thinking, oh, I'm rewiring my brain right now. Yeah. But if you can consistently show up and follow through with the seeds, like, that's functionally what you're doing day in and day out.
Yeah, and if you have no idea what we're talking about right now, 2 episodes ago, I can ground it. Michael did a solo episode explaining all 5 of these areas. So spiritual, social connection.
Yep.
Exercise, education, diet, and sleep. And mentioned in the book.
And again, you're going to get it right here.
So
right here.
This was actually developed by a psychologist who understood neuroplasticity. And he basically said, what are the top things that make your thinking more your brain more flexible for making new patterns? And he's like, bottom line, it's these 5 things.
Yeah.
Finding connection with people, learning. It's goodness, even what you eat, putting in your body. And of course, actually, man, we need to do a whole episode on sleep
and nutrition.
For real. Okay. But
5-part series, seeds.
At least trust us to say they are way more impactful on our brain's flexibility and ability to grow than we think. So,
Yeah.
Just trust us on that.
Yeah, trust us on that.
Please.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's great, man. I hope this was helpful to you on your journey. Implement this stuff. Like we say all the time, if you listen to this and do nothing, this is just entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you. I've got better things to do with my time, and so does Nick. So take action. When this podcast is over, close it, and then go take action. Go download the guide. Reach out to us on the website, rscky.com/get-started, rscky.com/quick-start for the quick start guide. Or reach out to us, hit us up on Instagram, send us a DM at Mike Camber with a K, at Nick Buda, Buda. We would love to talk to you, hear your story, and help point you in the right direction. And we say all the time, even if that's not working with us, we're fine with that. We just want to help you as much as we can.
Absolutely. And as we always say, please don't do this alone. And we would love to be some of the individuals that are walking with you on this journey. So
yes.
Thank you for listening and watching. Please feel free to like or subscribe to our channel. And we will see you next time.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. If you found this helpful, do us a huge favor and subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Or, better yet, send this to someone who needs encouragement.
For more tools, resources, and information about our coaching, check out rscky.com. Keep showing up.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.